Hey guys, Joe Miles here with Osseo Gear. This is the Mission Whitetail Podcast. We're going to be doing a deep dive into what it truly takes to kill these mature bucks. We're going to step outside the box and look at the why for gear, tactics, training, and more importantly, the mindset from over 35 years of chasing these magnificent animals all over North America. Thank you for following along and welcome to Mission Whitetail.
All right, guys, welcome back, Mission Whitetail. We got a cool episode today. Ben Harrison, the creator of the Bowhunting League, is with us. And Ben, man, so glad to have you. Tell us a little bit. You know, we do the same thing, I guess, with all our guests, but give us a little background so guys know who you are, and then we can kind of dive into the Bowhunting League and everything, you know, that goes on with that. Because, you know, we're signed up. Team Osseo, Team 200, got two good teams for this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So give us a little background on you and a little bow hunting history on you.
Okay. So I'm Ben Harrison. I live in southern Indiana. I was born and raised in Tennessee. Moved up here. I guess we've been up here 9 years now. We really like southern Indiana. It's a lot more country and stuff than everything's getting built up in Tennessee, but Tennessee's still home. Been bow hunting since college. I didn't get into it until I was done playing college baseball and playing baseball in general. Baseball just takes up so much time. And started bow hunting in college, and that's about it. I've been deer hunting all my life, like most guys, right? My dad took me when I was little. I went with him before I could hunt myself. We'd go and stuff, and that's how I got started. And that's very similar story to everybody else, but yeah, we're living it up here in Indiana.
So tell me about baseball. Where'd you? Because I played college baseball too. Where'd you play?
So I played at a NAIA school in West Tennessee, Bethel University. It's real close to, if you fish, it's real close to Barkley Lake, Kentucky Lake area.
Oh yeah, like Katie's and what else? Hopkinsville and all that's right around there. Is it
you're west of the lakes. You're in between. You're actually in between Reelfoot Lake and like Barkley Lake.
Okay.
And Kentucky Lake, Paris Landing, all that area. So real pretty area. Played baseball there, and ended up graduating from University of Tennessee, Martin. It's in West Tennessee. My buddy, that's where my bow hunting really started. I had a roommate, lifelong friend, Matt Powell, and got started bow hunting, just bow hunting back home stuff, small permission place, nothing crazy. And here we are. I still hunt down there. Every year.
Well, Kentucky, Indiana, those are big buck states. I hunt a good bit in that same area over around Katie's, Kentucky, and Trigg.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, early season, man.
Is that Crittenden County? What county is Katie's?
That's Trigg and Christian.
Trigg.
Yep, yeah, Trigg County and Christian County, and yeah, there's some big deer in there. I've had the run-ins with a couple good ones. I
hunt Christian County and Todd.
Yep.
Now currently, and yeah, so it's awesome. Still really good hunting, no matter what people tell you.
Yeah, the rifle hunting during the rut is tough on them. but it being a $1 state, whether you're a resident or non-resident, that helps. If they can sneak through that rut, man, or if we get some unseasonably hot weather, the following year for bow season can be incredible.
Oh yeah, for sure. Velvet's all awesome too because it opens so early. That season. I mean, you look at, and now that Tennessee has a velvet season, Tennessee home state. I go down there 3 days into August. Nothing's open, miserably hot, but it's fun because you can hunt deer on feeding patterns. And no matter if it's 95 degrees or if it's, you get a cool front, 82, that's all right, but yeah, it's a grind for sure.
It is. But yeah, I mean, September 2nd is the opener this year, and I plan on being there. So I'm excited about the Kentucky opener. Well, shifting gears a little bit, appreciate the intro. The Bowhunting League, you know, I knew absolutely nothing about the Bowhunting League, and I have really just gotten into social media in the last couple of years, so forgive me, but Rendell Eric, our mutual buddy, helped us at some trade shows this year, and he told me about it, and then I met you at the Indiana show.
Yep.
You came up and we talked for probably 30, 45 minutes, maybe. It was a pretty long conversation, and I was super intrigued and pretty much told you right then, you know, me and Osseo, we'd like to be a part of it because it's right up our alley. You know, the bow hunting side of things and what you guys do is right up our alley. And so tell us kind of how you got started with the Bowhunting League and then what it's all about. And let's go ahead and dive into that right off the rip.
So the Bowhunting League was 100% generated because other contests. So, for instance, forums, when forums were huge, right? And, you know, you had Archery Talk, bowhunting.com, all those big forums, right? They had deer contests every fall, okay? But what they would do is you'd sign up, you just literally just sign me up, and they'd take your username and throw it in a randomizer, and they would make all the teams, right? I had such a good time doing that. I did that for like 3 or 4 years, and I made all my friends download the apps. I was like, guys, y'all have got to do this. It's fun. You meet people. Like, I was probably the biggest recruiter for those 2 forums for those deer contests that they had. I mean, I went out, I told every one of my friends all the time, right? So got in there, and the only thing I didn't like about it was you would get in there, season would get going, your team would be up in the stands, everybody's killing deer, everybody's pushing each other, and then gun season starts hitting in these states, people start falling off. They're non-existent, right? And I even, like, I complained a couple times, you know, just being not knowing anything, right? I thought I was going to change somebody's mind, right? And like, but when you get in there, like I was so passionate about it, and I was like, man, what's the deal? Like, I've got a half a team now, you know what I'm saying? We're not gonna win. And come back to it, like, you know, I was thinking, you know, why don't we do this? Why don't I start one?
Sure.
You know, I had a group of friends, we all hunted together, it was like 7 or 8 of us. And I was like, we can make we start off the contest, first 3 years it was 5-man teams. I said, we can make 2 teams right here. And then I said, I'll just make a post. We had a little Facebook page called One Shot, One Soul. All right. And it was just us. It was just a place we could, you know, throw our hunting picks in where everybody could see them. Right. All of our friends were, because we're always telling people like, hey, my buddy killed a big deer, blah, blah, blah. Well, we wanted one place where we could just take people to, and we could show them all of our deer for the year. Because we were all killing $2-3 a year, right? Which we thought we were, the best dang hunters ever, shooting 115-inch 3-year-olds. But like, whatever, we're having a blast, right?
Right.
And I really wanted to bring that. Like, I saw how much camaraderie we had, and I was like, I really want to bring this to other people. There's no big picture on this thing. It wasn't like, I was like, hey, we'll get 10,000 teams in this thing at some point, and it's going to be this, and we're going to get Osseo gear as our sponsor and all this. No. It was all a passion of camaraderie, and it literally just adds to the hunt. When you've got guys you can celebrate with, or spin ideas off, or send them a freaking a topo map, or an aerial photo, and say, look, I bumped him right here. He ran this way. How can I get in here without that? You just things, right? Everything aspects of hunting. It amplifies it tenfold when you have somebody to bounce ideas off of, even if they're in 3 states away, right?
Sure.
I didn't realize it would have those impacts, but I was just like, hey, if we can just get people to collect like we collect, they're going to have more fun pushing each other as a team. I was thinking just the little teams, right? I wasn't thinking like nationwide and all friendships and network and stuff. None of that yet, right? And we started out, I think we had 13 teams the first year, right? I hand built every single team. I went through and said, I went on our, because algorithms and Facebook, all it was different then, right? And which you just said you don't know anything about social media, which is fine. But but what we did is I just said I need some guys to compete in a deer contest. Well, I had people say, hey, we'll do it or whatever, and like I would say, send me your. I mean, I don't even remember how I built them or anything back then, but I'd say send me some kill pics and I'll create a little team collage. Like the whole collage thing was all started the first year. I have no idea where I came up with that, but I just did it. I'll have 1,000 ideas a year and one or two will stick, right?
Sure.
Well, that stuck. So I was doing that. We had the little team collages and like it was, these 13 teams against each other, right? Well, the first 3 years we grew 30, 40%, right? Steady, but you still weren't crushing anything. The third year we had 50 teams in it, okay? And I'm just going to give you a full timeline of
where we
please.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So the fourth year, Facebook created groups. Okay. Again, I didn't know what we were going to do with group. I didn't understand the group, but I was like, I'm going to start one, right? We start the group and I tell everybody, hey, we're going to do our deer entries through this group, right? Where everybody can see them. That way they're not PM me. They were sending me private messages with every deer entry. Dude, it was an absolute nightmare.
50
Even
teams.
with just 50 teams. Yeah. Because the thing is, all these 50 teams they were all killers. They're everybody that saw and supported and hunted the way we did and hunted their asses off. So like literally we had that third year we had 50 teams. We had 3 bucks over 200 killed out of 150 hunters.
Wow, that's impressive.
We had like 8 deer over 170 killed out of 150 hunters.
That's incredible.
That's nuts. Like we don't do that now. We didn't even have a 200 killed last year. And
they're so rare. I mean, they're so rare.
Yeah, so that just shows you the base, right? And we had the buy-in of all those guys. We were all having fun, right? And we still have fun, but like it's crazy because like that's the base, right? Well, what we've noticed is as we've gone on, so we start the Facebook group. Well, I started a thread. Well, Facebook had their algorithms cranked way up on the groups trying to get these groups launched, right? Because they knew they needed to take people from just their little friend networks. They needed to connect people, right? And they didn't have a way to connect them. Well, the group's a common interest, right?
Yep.
Well, they had the groups cranked way up on the algorithms. I put out a post like, hey, sign your deer team up, do your team name and everybody has to, and I told them, I said, everybody has to have Facebook, right? Not now, that's not the case, but then I said, and you have to tag them all, right? So I can put them in the thing. We had 400 we had like 450 teams sign up that year. We went from 50 to 450 because Facebook started Facebook groups. That was literally it. Like, I mean, and it's everybody telling each other, and
yep.
it was ran like a true. It was actually I look at it as like the golden days of Facebook. That was the best time to be on Facebook. Was that year? Was 2017. So saying that, did that, and we had our team signups were through Facebook. See, we did that way for 17, 18, 19. Let me take your. We started in 15. It was like, yeah, maybe it was the 18 contest. We started that, but anyway, we did it that way for a while. Huge pain in the neck. We're getting entries submitted through Facebook Messenger. I told Chelsea that was like a year that I was just like, I cannot do this. Like, I mean, because what it's doing is when everybody's killing their deer, that's when I'm wanting to be hunting, and I'm hunting. Sure. So I'm coming home and putting deer entries in, and I was handling all the scoreboard and everything, right? Well, a couple years ago, Dan Nath came on. All right. Dan Nath's an engineer. He saw what we were doing. He said, "Hey man, if you ever need any help with the scoreboard, I can help you." And I was doing everything off an Excel spreadsheet. Dan Nath takes it to a different level. He sends us, everything is done through the website now. So like everybody, no matter where you're at social media wise, if you don't have social media, that's fine. As long as you have access to the internet, you can enter your deer. And he has totally changed my life because when I got removed from that role and he handled it and he didn't need my help, and he's a self-starter and all this stuff, right? This is, I feel like I'm promoting him for like a job or something. But like,
what's his email address and phone number?
He's freaking amazing. I'm serious. Like, and if anybody's listening to this and they need like a go-getter and a brainiac, he's the guy. So came to me, we started work together, and that's when I saw like I was able to really get back to taking care of everybody again, right? I wasn't frustrated when somebody asked me a question. Because I wasn't overwhelmed, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm passionate about it. I want to see everybody kill deer, and I want to kill deer myself, right? And I had the opportunity to really get back to taking care of everybody while Dan Nath's running the ship, right? You know, the mechanics of the contest, right? Had the opportunity to meet new people, right? And like make sure I'm, people see stuff going on, like D.A. Porter. He saw stuff going on, and, he's like, hey, we need to do this, you need to do that. And so, like, as far as like when I was swarmed and stressed out with the promotion, with the contest scoreboard and stuff like that, D.A. came in, right? So D.A. actually came in a little bit before Dan, but D.A. helped with promotion and all that stuff while I'm like, just putting teams on a list, right? And then Dan took that all away from me. So like, and that totally removed my stress, right? Because here I'm getting stressed out because we're growing, and then you got this guy that takes care of that. So the mechanics of it. But those were the two biggest guys as far as like the actual growth. We had guys going like, this is crazy, the stuff we did to launch this. Like we had Matt Powell, my buddy that I was telling you about, that I went to college with, and lifelong friend. We've been friends since we were 7. Like we grew up on the same creek. We hunt together all year and stuff. We would go into these Facebook groups and recruit, and we'd have threads that have 400 or 500 comments in them, and like everybody's PMing us, and we're telling them how to get to the group and how to sign up. And the saying all that, now we're here, because I'll ramble, but like now we're here. And last year we had 1,242 teams, 3,726 guys sign up.
Golly, that's incredible.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, I've had people come on and help. I've got people that that want to be a part of this, because what it is, like, it's kind of like our escape, right? It's like one of those things that we can escape to year round. We can mess with deer hunting year round with this, right? We can mess with turkey hunting year round, and we can shoot our bow and talk to other people shooting their bow and show it, like there's so many little things. It's a year round thing. We keep something going all year, right?
Yep.
And it's amazing where we're at. So, and I didn't say this, and I need to tell everybody before we get too far into things. The contest is 100% free.
Yep.
We will never ever charge anybody to want to come hang out and to send us their deer pics and their scores, right? That's the way I look at it. It's things, everybody that competes, they look at it like they look at everything they get from it, the networking, the friendships, and the cheerleaders, all that stuff, right? But the thing is, immediately I recognize, like, hey, everybody else is putting in work too. Like our members, when they help out somebody, or if they, like if somebody has a question, about the contest, they jump in and tell them, right? We've got hundreds of advocates in this thing, right? That are just constantly, and I'm looking, I'm like, that's a sacrifice. People can say whatever they want. Yes, the Bowhunting League, I got it started. I got all this stuff going, but it's their league. It's not my league. It's, we all, I move stuff around and I'm trying to make other opportunities, but like it's their league, it's our league, and that's what's so cool is everybody takes ownership, and that's what I'm saying. Like, keep it free, like I've had so many people come to me, like, when we hit 400 teams, they're like, man, if you just charged each person $1, you'd have $1,200. I'm like, I don't want $1,200. Like, I don't want $1,200 in like when how when somebody gives you money, I don't want them to get $1,200 of work out of me. You know what I'm saying? I'm already going to give that to them, but like I don't want to be on the hook for you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that's an extra thing, and that's the thing. We've got but there's like I said, we're at 1,242 teams last year, 37 and 26 competitors, had almost 100,000. We had 98,000 inches of antler entered.
Good gracious.
Yep, it's a lot. I didn't think we'd get in. I mean, I don't know where this ends, but like I didn't think we'd be doing that. Those kind of numbers. Our average buck is always around to 130.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have several over 140, 150, lots of big deer, great big deer. And then we'll have a pile of 105s to 115s. And some of them come from me, like, somebody that doesn't know me or know my buddy Matt Powell or any of us. I mean, we are not, when it's rut and stuff, and if it's a big bodied 8-pointer and he comes through and he's 132, he's getting shot. Sure. I mean, that's just, we're there to have fun. I ain't changing the way I do things because of the contest. But anyway, but yeah, that's what we're full of just regular dudes that want to go deer hunting and want to talk to people about it,
Well, so walk us through like it's three-man teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you can like individually in your own state, right?
Mm-hmm.
Walk us through kind of how it works as far as, all right, you get your 3-man team just from A to Z. And then also let's say, it's a guy in Florida and he doesn't have a team, but he wants to try and shoot the biggest buck in Florida for the Bowhunting League that year. How does that part work?
Okay. So 3-man team, it doesn't matter where your teammates are from. You can be any of the United States, even Canada. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's your top buck per guy creates your team score. Okay.
Yeah.
Unlimited upgrades. We tell everybody enter every deer you kill. Okay. There are individual things like you're saying. You have the state, the top buck per state. There is a prize for the top buck per state. Okay.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if it's the standard, our base package, which is Zinger Fletches, a Tag It decal, and then we have pro shops that are sponsoring the states. We're getting pro shops on board where they're throwing in flagship bows. Okay, it can be whatever brand that they want. Okay.
Yep.
It's just like we're working all that. Like we've got these state things. Also, we have what's called King of Tines. Okay, so King of Tines is your top 5 bucks for the year, and unlimited upgrades on it too. Only one of them can be from an outfitter, though.
Gotcha.
For that ranking. However, you can use an outfitter buck for your top buck for your team too. Like it does, And I want to touch on that just for a second because, like, when that rule is carefully crafted. Okay. Anytime something gets put in for the rules or any of those processes, they go through like 5 or 6 levels of scrutiny. I send it to the most critical people I know about the contest, and they've been here a lot forever. And the reason we use the outfitter rule, okay, why do we allow them? Okay, a lot of people say, I get that all the time. You don't need to allow outfitter bucks, blah, 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 blah. Well, first off, all outfitters aren't created equal, okay? Mm-hmm. There are a lot of situations where guys will get a flashy, fancy, outfitter that has an amazing lodge and amazing food, and they would be better off staying there, but driving 30 minutes down the road and climb up on a ridge on public land.
100%. Yes.
I mean, I've seen that several times. Okay. The next thing is not everybody lives or has access to good hunting land. So let's say they find a good outfitter, right? Joe Goodwin's one that I know of right now. He's a competitor and runs a really small outfitting gig. This isn't an ad for him. He's just a good dude, right?
Sure.
Very small, very selective hunts, blah blah blah. He so let's say there's a guy that lives in, I don't know, Alabama, right? And he wants to get after a Kentucky buck every year. Well, he gives Joe a call, and it's cheaper for him because he's only going to have 5 days off of work.
Yep.
He's limited on time. He doesn't have time to scout, hang stands all the time. He wants to hunt the rut in a good deer state. Well, he calls Joe, goes up there, takes his sacrifice of $3,000 or whatever it costs. That's a sacrifice. He's a working class dude. Like, there's no reason we should penalize him for wanting to go hunt an outfitter when he doesn't have quality deer to hunt at home, and it's you don't want to pay $10,000 on a lease to hunt 5 days, right?
Right.
So that's what he does. That makes sense. Business, very fiscally smart, right? He wants to hunt good deer. That's how he does it. Well, but the thing is, what we don't want is we don't want a guy going around and paying 5 individual outfitters to win the King of Tines, right?
Yeah, he bought it. Yeah, he bought it. That's
he
right.
bought it.
Yep.
He said, I ain't doing none of the work. Which is still a sacrifice. Why, how can I hate on a guy for spending 30 to 40 grand to kill 5 big deer to show everybody? He sacrificed somewhere else to get that money, right?
Sure.
Like but at the same time, it's just not a good fit for our general group, right?
No, I think that's a fair compromise. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we do that. We have King of Tines. We have that. So at the end of the year, we started. So last year was the 3rd one. We do a end of the year hunt. Okay, we take the top. We started off just taking the top 10 King of Tines, right? At the end of the calendar year. So season was still going on. Everybody's still hunting, but we wanted the end of the year finale hunt. We didn't want to wait. We didn't want to have people qualify and then the following year they go hunt together. No, the excitement's wore off. The stories have been told 15, 20 times. We want to get everything when it's fresh, right? So we get everybody together, the top 10 King of Tines. They go to the showdown. Everybody gets an invite to go to the showdown. Showdown, first 2 years, we started in Florida. We were hunting North Florida and staying at an Airbnb and hunting public land, okay? Last year, one of the King of Tines guys, he opened up his deer camp in Arkansas. All right. It was just family deer camp. He's traveling in Illinois, everything all throughout the year, but he had a place. He wanted a place where he could take his kids and just a place to have deer camp, right? It was insane how much fun that was. We're hunting post-rut, we're putting post-rut deer. No, we only had a couple people even saw a buck, right? And we invited 22 people. We invited people. We started a doe contest last year too. And we invited people from King of Tines, top team. We opened up a traditional division, traditional archers, because it should be its own thing.
Of course.
There was 22 people invited. All right. We invited the top 5 bucks that were entered that year. I want to get everybody that's jacked up about their year to come to that hunt, because the idea, you see what I'm saying? Like, you got all these fresh stories, everybody's got, and we know who it is because we saw their success. It's amazing. So catch this, invited 22 people across the nation, including Canada. We had 17 show up. We had 2 guys come from Saskatchewan. They traveled 2 days to get down to this thing to go hunt spikes. Go hunt spikes on public land in Arkansas.
Yes.
So that whole experience, it's different. If you just throw like 17 hunters, like, hey, I need 17 bow hunters, right? If you just throw 17 bow hunters in a room, yeah, it's going to be a good time, right?
Yep.
But you throw 17 bona fide killers that have just killed big deer. We had a guy that had 170, Dwayne Spann killed a 175-inch Tennessee buck with his recurve.
Wow.
Yeah. It takes a lot of guts to hunt a deer like that with a recurve when you know he's there,
Mm-hmm.
you know? But anyway, you get all these guys together, right? It is an energy that's unmatched. You know, it's like February time frame. So we've all recuperated from the rut, but we still it's just something to look forward to other than shed season, right? And other than turkey season. This is like the grand finale. Here it is. Bam. And guess what? You ain't stressed out about the rut. I get stressed during the rut. I am not. I'm still a pretty happy person. I'm glad I get to go hunting, but it is not a relaxed period of time, right? And if
chaos.
it's relaxed for me, let's say I smash a big one, it's relaxed for me, good for me, and everybody's picking up energy, happy for me. But guess what? They immediately get more stressed because they know there's another one that's been killed. And so they're like, man, I got to really get after it. But anyway, saying all that, do the showdown. That's another piece of the thing.
Yeah.
We had a doe contest got started last year. There was over 400 does entered in this doe contest.
Wow.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like literally something for everyone. Like, you just, like you said, the states, right? Alabama, Florida, Mississippi, South Carolina, all the states. Doesn't matter what state you're hunting, you're eligible for prizes. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about the biggest deer.
Yeah.
But again, it is about the biggest deer because at the same time, those guys get rewarded. We take care of them. Those are the best prizes, right? But there's always something for everybody, you know?
No, that's awesome, man. I tell you, it's when you ran me through it in Indiana, I was immediately grasping the idea, thinking about how the camaraderie would be there, how, hunting has changed, and we're going to kind of segue into this. You and I talked about this a little bit on email. Hunting has changed over the years, right? I mean, it used to be a thing where, guys hunted for food. That was the whole point of going out and hunting. And lots of guys enjoyed the adventure, but the main point was to provide protein for family and village and friends and whatever else. And, as modern civilization changed, we don't necessarily have to hunt for our food. I still do. Like, I shot a hog Monday night. I processed it Tuesday.
I saw that.
I processed it Tuesday morning, and I'm going to grill it this weekend. I've got pork chops and pork loins that are going on the grill this weekend, and we're going to eat it and enjoy it. And I killed it Monday. So I still do a lot of that and think it's important. We eat deer meat three nights a week, anything with hamburger, that's part of what we do as a family. A lot of guys aren't like that. A lot of guys,
right.
They shoot a deer, they take it to a processor, they give it away, they put the trophy on the wall, and that's the end of it. And that's okay too. As long I'm fine as long as that animal is getting consumed by somebody. If you take its life, it deserves the respect of being consumed. That's why they're on the planet. And not to get super philosophical, but like anything else, Osseo gear, when we started, you get some hate, you get some trolls, you get guys that don't understand it. With a bow hunting league like this, when you're putting the focus on the size of the animal. I know you've been hit with this, maybe it's not ethical. Maybe, hey, you're headed in you're taking hunting in the wrong direction. I totally disagree with that, but I want to be the devil's advocate here because I'm certain there's some of our listeners right now that are thinking this exact question. So just want to let you go on that for a minute, wanted to bring that up so you would have a minute to explain that and explain the Bow Hunting League kind of stance on that.
Okay. So you're saying, so the question is it good for deer hunting?
Yeah. Is it good for deer hunting?
Just good for the tradition and things like that?
Yeah. Is it good for deer hunting? Yeah. Is it good for deer hunting or is it bad for deer hunting? I guess that would be the question. Okay.
So first off, we don't have to get everybody, right?
Yep.
If somebody has a hardcore belief that they cannot get past and can't have an open mind and can't see us for what we actually are, I don't want to change their mind. I don't want them anywhere around us, right? Because life's short, my days are numbered, and like I don't know how many days I got, but like hope this ain't on some kind of clip in 6 months I get a car wreck or something stupid. But
let's knock on wood, man.
But yeah, at least let me get through Christmas. But anyway, but what I'm saying is, it's not, you know, it's not my objective to change anybody's mind, right? So the next thing is, so somebody's on the fence, right? How could this be good for hunting, right? To explain to me how this could be good for hunting, right?
Yep.
Just like you said, deer hunting's changed, right? What changed with deer hunting? It used to be about family. It used to be about your neighbors. If you saw a deer, you told somebody at the coffee shop or at the gas station, and everybody talked about it, right? Or if you killed one, you checked it in. So you know, they run next time they see somebody, because they didn't have cell phones. Next time they see somebody, did you see? Joe killed a 12-pointer. Have you seen pictures of it? Yeah, it's hanging on the wall at the gas station. You had to go to the dang gas station to see a picture of the deer, right? Or go to Joe's house to see it, right? So, in a sense, how's it good for hunting, right? We literally have deer camp. Like, it's a giant deer camp. Like, there's no, like, that's it. Like, and you get the information immediately. You don't have to hear it a week from now. And when we do our, we do Facebook Live recoveries, okay? I'll get a PM from a guy, I talk to, I don't know how many people I talk to a week, but I have somebody PM me, just shot a big one. Pretty sure I saw him go down. I say, hey, hold on a second. Let me send you a link, and we're going to do this recovery, because you get that raw emotion. You only get to experience that for every deer you help drag out or your own bucks, right? How cool is it to be able to do that with thousands of, opportunity to do that with tens or hundreds of different guys that participate in that, right?
Yeah.
So is it good? How is it good? Well, it makes it a better experience, and it increases the amount of satisfaction and joy for us hunters. Because realistically, the ones that are here and enjoying themselves are the only ones that matter. If somebody is literally, like, there are reasons, there's thousands of reasons for somebody not to like this, right? But if they can't get joy out of it, we don't need them. Like, we don't, because I'm of no value to them. All I'm doing is bringing them down.
Sure.
I'm breaking that relationship immediately, because I don't want to be a negative thing on them, right?
Right.
And that's the way I look at it. Like, how's it for me? It's myself. I get personal satisfaction every time I see my top buck get bucked down the list of the overall, because I'm like, somebody, for what it's worth, somebody just passed me, right? And I'm probably PMing them, or I'm gonna see them talk about it in a story, and like, I get a little piece from that, and then I'm also thinking that a lot of times the guys will like describe the situation, or they'll like post like a video of the hunt, and I'm like, dang, I've got to go sit my hub scrape on that bench right now. Like, this guy's in central Illinois, and he just killed this buck in the afternoon, 3:00 in the afternoon working a scrape. I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's things like that. It's not me like having to orchestrate and plan everything. Like, I'm picking up details, and like, like, that's probably not a bad idea for me to be sitting that, sit that inside corner off that cornfield right now, or whatever, like it just adds to the stuff. What's really cool is, and it's so simple. I've got all these little Facebook Messenger groups that I'm in, right? The Showdown, we have a Showdown legacy group. Every single person that's ever attended the Showdown is in this legacy group. Lots of guys will go to the Showdown, like the ones that get invited, it's a very select few, but the guys that get invited, a lot of times, those guys will only get to go one time. in their life because they killed a mega deer or their team struck, got struck by, struck lightning or whatever.
Yeah,
gold,
sure.
whatever it is, struck gold. And then, they got that in, they got their name in and they got in there, right? And they may never get to go again, but guess what? They get all the camaraderie from the showdown group. And we follow along and we're texting and there's 30 people in that thing, right? So we're talking about season and sharing pictures and stuff. So I'm able to follow along somebody's private story and their private chase of a deer. And then when they connect, guess what they do? They do one of these calls, just like me and you did. They do a group call, and whoever can answer is watching them recover that deer, or they're going to give play-by-play. Guys, I just freaking killed him.
Good deal. Yeah.
You can't, the thing is, that's the best part for me. Now, everybody can't have my experience, but guys can get parts of things, or is it good? Is it really good? No, it's fantastic for hunting for me.
Yeah.
And it's for the guys. And that's the thing. It's only the ones that it's really kind of like a troll thing, right? They come at you and they say, you're just trying to be the next brand X or brand Y, or you're not doing anything original. What do you think? They've never even seen your stuff, right?
Sure.
It's always somebody that sees social media or something online, and they've never felt it in their hand or never worn it in the field or, anything, or even have a friend that owns it, right? They're saying you're doing this, or you're copying this, or you're just doing this.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Yeah. And that's the same thing that happens with us. I don't ever get guys that have been in the group 2-3 years, even if they didn't sign up. I never get a guy that's been around 2-3 years and says, hunting's not a competition. Why are you doing this? They don't ever do that because they know, yeah, competition is part of this thing, but that's how we get everybody to show up.
Yeah, yeah, so much more than that. It's so much more than that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. There is but I compete with that deer all year long. That's really who I'm competing with is the deer. I find the deer I want to kill, and I'm competing with him all year long. I'm so far past the jealousy. When a buddy of mine kills a big one, I'm so happy for him because I know how much work goes into that. Mm-hmm. It's so much work that goes into targeting a specific deer and killing him. The jealousy part of it eventually goes away. It seems like the younger guys, are jealous, or the guys that are just getting into hunting specific deer, or just getting into killing big deer. There's jealousy there.
It must be nice crowd.
Yeah. That's the Cameron Haynes thing. Must be nice. That's exactly right. But with Osseo, when we started out, it was quite a bit. But it's funny. I screenshotted most all of those comments, and I put them in a motivational folder. And those are the things that kept me up until 3 o'clock in the morning and got me up at 4 a.m. to work. And I look back at some of them now, and we'll go into our customer database, and some of those people have bought thousands of dollars of our clothing. And of course I've never said
it's not, and it's not that you won, it's that they won too.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And the thing is, they're customers because they finally freaking got it. You find me quality, there's lots of quality hunting gear out there.
Sure.
There's lots of stuff, right?
Lots of stuff.
You find me a quality hunting gear that's a little bit lower end on the high end price, okay? But you just find me a quality hunting gear manufacturer, and you show me a killer. Yep. You show me a guy, show me the CEO, that isn't just going on guided stuff just for photo ops. Show me a true killer, a guy that would literally say, you know what? I'm tagged out in my state. I'm going to go hunt public land somewhere. I'm going to go meet up with my buddy and go hunt over here. Go hog hunting on the weekend just to go shoot a hog and kill it and eat it. You know what I'm saying? Show me one. And that's the thing. That's what we get with all of our sponsors. Sure. I cannot send, like, I cannot, it may happen someday in some capacity, but like, I will have zero luck. It's a waste of my time for me to email and say, hey, if you're interested in donating prizes to our contest, they don't get it because I can't explain it to somebody that doesn't understand, right?
No.
That isn't like a killer first, and then, because you're a killer first and then a hunting gear, Osseo gear owner.
Second. I'm gonna keep hunting no matter no matter what. And for me and the guys that that are part of the Team 200 group that signed up and that Team Osseo that signed up, the prizes, that's all nice and good, and
cool.
It's cool, but that's not why we're here. We're here to be part of the group and spread this thing around and get more people involved. If we win the thing or win the state or King of Antlers or whatever it may be, that's awesome, and we get some prizes. But again, that's not really the reason for us. The reason for us is to build that tribe, right? Build that tribe of hunters and camaraderie and bounce things off. And I'm gonna segue again into something else because I know we're closing in on your time here. But
I've got some time, but
okay, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad. So we may go over an hour a little bit, and that's okay.
That's fine. Perfectly fine.
So what we do with all of our guests, if you will, and we try with Mission Whitetail to provide value outside of gear, and with the hunting league, which we've introduced people to. Let's talk about you and your hunting, because you've killed quite a few deer, and every time I talk to somebody, I want to hear a buck story, a strategy, how they killed a particular deer, what they did to do it. And I do that everywhere I go. Everybody, I try and talk with them and hear the story from soup to nuts on a particular deer that was a challenge that maybe they hunted an entire season or multiple seasons. Do you have a buck like that you could share with us, and kind of how you went through the entire process of killing him?
Yep. So I've got a couple of stories, but let's talk about my biggest buck.
Okay.
Perfect. So I hunt a Navy base that other employees, there's like 3,500 employees, but everybody that's an employee there can hunt it, right? So while it's restrictive, it still has its public land issues, right?
Sure.
It's basically continuous, but it does have managed timber, but like a continuous chunk of cover, like over 50,000 acres. Okay. But you know how it is. Big timber is not easy. You can kill him, but to kill a great big one, or to like say, I'm going after this size class, you may go 3 or 4 hunts middle of November and not see a deer.
Sure.
And you may have, but what I decided to do that year, this was the first year I did it, and like I've had success with it since then. I said, you know what? Like I hunted like the first 5 or 6 days of the season, and I was sitting on acorn flats, dumping out into freshly cut cornfields, that's around the base and stuff. Like I was just like, this is legit. This is it, right? This is
what
how
time
I kill
of year?
them.
Well, yeah. What time of year?
So it's early October.
Early October.
So, yeah, first week of season in Indiana, but we do have good acorn drop by then.
Sure.
And and I'm seeing sign, right? Like I'm all over this, right? I'm doing this. But what I was doing is I went and I wasn't seeing anything. Like I was just like, this should be so easy, like this is so limited on these people, blah blah blah. But what I didn't realize is not all signs created equal, right? This is like, and I cut my teeth. I learned how to deer hunt when I moved to Indiana. Okay. I was hunting small properties in Tennessee that, and I was over hunting them. When it was a season was open, by golly, I was going in there. I didn't know, I had no idea what I was doing. But I killed deer, like, because I freaking hunted all the time. So you're going to kill deer. And I tell a lot of people, like, and that's kind of my slogan anyway, like my motto or whatever, whatever. But I'm not a good deer hunter. I just hunt a lot. Like, and that's fine. Like, it works. But what I did is I said, I went like 5 days and like 5 hunts, and I was just like, I didn't see anything. And I was like, I am wasting my time. I said, I'd rather be walking around. So what I do, I started walking around because it's such a big place. And I covered one Saturday, which is, it's still, it's not great. I mean, it's still ticks and all that stuff, early October. I covered like 8 miles and, one Saturday and slowly, but just worked walked ridge after ridge after ridge. And I found 3 spots that had clusters of scrapes in isolated areas. Okay. And what I do is, like, when I'd find it, I found the spot and I'd say, okay, where am I at first off?
Yeah.
So I look at where I'm at and I was like, okay, how do I get here? Right. And I'd find the closest drain or, ridge that I didn't, connecting ridge that I didn't think anything would be coming from. I said, this is my access, right? I did all that one day, found 3 spots. Okay. Then I said, I'm not hunting anymore in this hot weather. Not doing it. I'm going to spend time with my wife, going to go out to dinner, work around the house, get everything done, right? Prioritize my time. Because I told her, I said, on Wednesday, when it's cold, after work, I'm going hunting. My first sit on the first 3 spots I found, my very first sit, went in there, climbed up, I was like, know where I'm at. I walked by one of the freaking scrapes, which I, thought about, like, my wind and like, hey, can I kill him when he gets there before he hits my wind? Yep. Before he crosses, when he stops, when he smells my track, am I going to be able to shoot him to have an open? Yep. So, like, and here's the tree because of this wind, blah, blah, blah. Very first sit, I walked the biggest deer I've ever walked. He was probably, I'd say, he's well into the 140s.
Oh yeah. Nice.
But he was just an 8-pointer. But he had one of his brow was over 10 inches long on one side. It was crazy. I was like, when I first saw him, you seen deer through the canopy and stuff, and he had his head down eating acorns, and I put my binoculars on him, and I saw that brow, and I said, oh my God, here we go. And when he came in, he had broke the other one off.
Gotcha.
And I said, and I still almost shot him. Maybe he's still been in the 130s, easy, upper 130s, mid 30s. And I drew on him, and I said, nope. I said, this is my first sit. I said, I've killed deer that score like that before. That deer got broke off by something, may have been a 2-year-old, but I said, you got broke off by something.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I said, you got lucky. And I put bow down, but you know what I did? I didn't go back and sit that spot again. I said, I'm going to the next one. Now, but here we go, a learning event, right? So here we go. Here's learning events.
Yep.
So I get this great idea that I'm going to beat a deer to bed, right? I found this other spot, and I was like, hell, there's hundreds of spots like this on base, right? See, I started getting careless. I got cocky. I was like, I'm all over. I got this figured out. I'm going to go in and shoot one before he comes to bed, okay? Well, I get to the spot, and I see eyes in front of me with my headlamp. And I'm standing there, I'm like, those look pretty far apart. I hadn't walked up on a bunch of deer. And what I've learned is, like, in just my experience, is like a lot of times does get up and run way faster than a buck will. And this deer just stared at me. So I just backed up, climbed up in the tree, and I was like, he's bedded down, whatever. I'm like 50 yards from this deer now. I backed up, though, because I knew if I climbed a tree right on top of him, he's gone, right? I backed up. He never moved. It starts breaking daylight. I hear it. And I look, and he's rubbing, like he's messing around, scraping stuff, working his way away from me. He knew something. He didn't think it was human, but he's just like, yeah, I'm over this. Or he may have been in between. He may be going to his regular bed, and he may just been bedded down like late, late evening, late night,
Right.
3 a.m. bedding down after eating acorns and go to his real bed, right? With the wind, waiting for the wind to pick up, whatever. So he do a lot of stuff. But anyway, I was like, after that hunt, I was like, I may have just screwed this place up. What am I doing? I was like, I need to, but then I had a wind switch, and like I was still hunting that cluster, but I was like, I'm gonna come in a different way. So first sit in there, chilling. Got a huge doe herd comes through. They come through, feed their way through, and go on like they're gonna go all like off the toe of the ridge, and I'm like, that's good. And like at that point in time, I'd started understanding it. I didn't want does loitering around. Like I want them to come through, leave their scent, and leave.
Yep.
Like I don't want them hanging around. Well, about twilight time, magic time, magic 30 minutes. Here they come back. I'm like, damn. Like I was like, this ain't good, because I was like, if I'm gonna kill one, I'm gonna kill one right now. I'm sitting there, I'm contemplating. Because I run does off. If I'm going into a place, like if it's public land and I have does loitering around, I'll let them know I'm here. Like, hey, hey, deer. Like, and they'll just walk off. Don't blow or anything, just walk off. But like, I want them away from me. Well, right before I did that, here, I look over and there's a beech tree just doing this. And I'm like, here he comes. Here comes the freaking king. And I'm 80% sure it's the same buck. I mean, like the thing is, a deer like this, he's the biggest body deer, but matured out October 17th. I didn't give you a time frame, but like that was, you get them clusters, get the clusters of scrapes that time of year, right before they start scraping everywhere. And everybody's like, oh, see the sun. Well, it doesn't matter because it's freaking everywhere, dude. Like if you got deer, you got sun, late October. I was like, but those clusters, you find like all that, you're in one. Like, and he ain't going far because he's eating there and he's bedding there and he's close, right? Very, very simple way of strategy, right? Here you come. So he's walking freaking perfect. Gonna walk right down this it's almost like a backbone ridge. Gonna walk right. He's just working his scrapes. He's cruising through all the cluster of scrapes I had, just easing through them, right? And, he's got the wind in his face. Of course, I'm on the head of a little drain that I walked up to access where he can't get under me, right? He's not going to walk right there, but he's almost like a skinny wind, right? Kind of blowing to his direction, but it's blowing off the ridge instead of right in his face. But he's working on scrapes, gets about, 25 yards, but he's facing me. And he sees the does below me. They're below me on the ridge feeding. What does he do? Gonna go check them, right?
Of course.
Turns, comes right down. I mean, at this point, I'm like, okay, like, I hadn't drawn yet, but I was like waiting for him to like turn or like get behind a tree to draw. Gets behind tree, I freaking draw. He's gonna walk in a 22-yard hole. It's gonna be over with, right? Easy. Like you can do that any way. You can do that with your other eye. Like it doesn't matter, And when I drew, the does, there's like 6 of them. Like I think half of them saw me flipped out because not only are they tired of my shit, but they're also tired of his shit because he's been messing with them probably for 2 weeks, right?
And way too early.
Yeah, way too early because he's rutted up. His neck's like this. He's ready. And he's like, you ready? And like, you ain't ready, get off my ridge, right?
Yeah.
So like, and it exploded. Well, he bounded, and I'd already ranged and everything, but he bounded about, I thought, 40 yards. Well, I had a second pin on my sight, and I was shooting in my yard all the time with the second pin. I knew, I was like, punt, like he's toast. I was like, I still got him. Did not have time to range, obviously. He got full alert, the whole deal. Held on his heart, shot. He never moved. It was 45, 46 yards, right under him.
Oof.
So gone, right?
Yep.
Talked to everybody. I was like, guys, you ain't gonna believe it, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, like, I was like, you know what? Screw it. he didn't know what happened because I watched him bound away, but then I watched him every now and then. I catch a glimpse of him working a scrape or feeding. Like he wasn't going very far. He didn't know what happened.
Right.
He never smelled me. And I was like, here's the thing. My only chance of killing that deer is tomorrow. I was like, because he went that direction, but tomorrow night, he's going to come by this tree and smell where I was at, and he's going to be off this ridge. He's not going to run far. He's not going to go to another state, but he's going to move 200 yards down and going to be able to find him. I was like, but I knew he went to the crop fields down the ridge and away. So I was like, unless he does some big, huge loop in the morning and walks by my tree, he ain't going to know I was here. And I was like, but because we believe in that, like you can only hunt a tree one time, like because, they smell you at night or the next day they end up walking by you and then they left, whatever. So I had opposite wind. It warmed up, but I had opposite wind. He did exactly what you think a deer would do. He switched to the other side of the ridge because of leeward wind. And rest is history. He came right up, was feeding. Brown actually got in my wind underneath me, didn't know I was there, smashed him at 32 yards, watched him go down. But I didn't get sorry for myself. I was like, hey, what do I have? I have a big deer here. It's so hard to find one. Hunt it again until I don't see him, right?
Sure.
And that's the thing. Like, but again, I was like, instead of being stupid and saying, well, I could probably hunt that side of the ridge, I was like, think like he's going to think. He's going to be on the leeward side of that ridge. You're in his area. Get over on the bulletproof side. That way, if he does what he did the day before, you might be able to call him in. Or if he does what I think he's going to do, just do that. So it doesn't make you an expert when you pick it right? It doesn't make you the best hunter in the world, but it dang makes you feel like you are.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you accomplished your goal. You put a plan together. You had you asked yourself why. You put a plan together. You executed it, and we talk about that all the time. Is that's how you learn? Is when you just go in the woods blindly and climb up a tree and just sit there and there's no plan. You're not learning anything. You might get lucky and one might walk right under you. But I tell guys all the time, because I get a lot of messages about, hey, I'm just getting started. What are some of the first steps? The first steps are make a plan, right, wrong, or indifferent. Make a plan, execute it, and if it fails, you learn from it. If it works, you learn from it. And that's a prime example. I was going to ask you that the first time you were in there, that was an all-day sit. You were in there the whole day?
No, it was just after work. I literally changed out of my work clothes and threw my camo on and climbed up the ridge.
And that was the first time you saw him when you shot right under him.
Yep, that was the first time I saw. Because I had the encounter that the weekend before. It was on Saturday. I got to go in the morning. I'm pretty sure it was him.
Yep.
And the thing is, the reason I think it's him is because where I saw him at was where he ended up bedding from.
Okay.
In just even talking to you, like, he knew something was up. I left all that ground scent that morning, and obviously it didn't screw him up for moving early in the next day, but he bedded somewhere different, right?
Sure.
And then but does it, how much can we actually screw him up, And I didn't I guess this deer may have just been the most arrogant deer that's ever been. And he just doesn't care what happens in there because he's the king. He's not scared of nothing. He's been if anything, he's got more buck interactions than anything. And he's just fighting and keeping them run off. So maybe he had already claimed his territory, and it may have been nothing I could have done to bump him off. But
sure. And what kind of a deer was he, Ben?
I'll show you.
Yeah, please do, guys. You're looking on YouTube. You're gonna get to see him right here.
So, 162. 100. Let me get on him right here. Oh, he's 160. Yeah, he's really tall. Got really good brows. Biggest frame deer I've ever killed.
He's beautiful, man.
But he's got a little deal right here.
Yeah, I see the kicker.
He's got a little kicker off the back. Okay.
Yeah.
He's got actually two little kickers off the back, which makes him an 11 pointer. But he's a main frame 8. As a main frame 8, he's I think he's like 155 or something gross.
Man, he's a
So
great looking buck.
pretty good. Pretty good. There's some other deer, but pretty good. Pretty good.
Very
But
good.
30. It was at the time. It was 31 inches bigger than anything I'd ever killed.
Man, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah, that is
deal.
awesome. And so my takeaway from that story is two things. The first one, you went into an area and you hunted, and instead of just grinding it out, you said, wait a minute, there's sign in here, but something's not right. I'm not seeing deer. So instead of doing the same thing over and over again, you got down and went and found spots.
Yeah.
So you educated yourself, you changed things completely up, and you went somewhere different. Then phase two, what I'm gathering is you found multiple places. You said, all right, I'm going to blow it all up. I'm going to blow up everything. I'm going to go in here and blow everything up, and I'm going to find everything I can. I'm going to work my tail off all day. We'll walk all these ridges. I'm going to find the best 2 or 3 spots that I can find, and then I'm getting out of here. I'm getting out of here until the weather gets right. It gets closer to that pre-rut time, and then I'm going to dive back in when I got the right wind. I've put my plan together, and then you got back in there. And then part 3 of that learning curve or education I'm getting from your story is you shot at the deer, you missed him. Instead of throwing your bow out of the tree and commit Harry-Carry, you shook it off real quick, and you said, okay, what that's the past. That happened. That's over with. What is the next move here? The next move is, I watched that buck calm down. He went and worked a scrape. He's not that boogered. I know right where he's bedded. I got a different wind tomorrow. I'm going to get back in there and try him again and see what happens. And then I also have my spot number 3, that if I need to go to spot number 3, I can go to spot number 3, and then I can start over again back at spot number 1. So that's what I gathered from that story, and feel like that, that's super valuable, man. That's going to give a lot of guys that get in that situation things, little pearls of wisdom, knowledge that guys can throw in their hat and have for when they get in situations like that. So that's
never leave deer to find deer.
No,
Ever.
sir. That's right.
If there's one you want to shoot, don't leave him until he's gone.
Yep.
Until you think he's gone. And a testament to that, my buddy Matt last year, he hunted this one buck. I don't want to give out too much information. He don't really care. But he hunted this one buck, and he was really nice. I'm talking, he was a once in a never time for a Tennessee hunter, right? And he hunted this thing. He had a couple little bulletproof places he could get. He could see a long ways. He hunted this thing, I don't know, man, like 20-something hunts in a row. And he was just getting enough pictures of him and just enough just to keep him just a little bit interested. He's all right on the edge of this deer. It's not like he could go anywhere he wants, right?
Sure.
All these private land and stuff. But he was getting just enough. And it was early enough in the year that he felt like he could get it done. There was a ton of does in the area. And he's like, the first one that gets in, this deer's going to come walking right here, work his scrape. I'm going to shoot him. And he never killed him. But, he wasn't going to leave to go find one that didn't exist. Because the thing is, he had other deer he could have shot. He's getting really nice deer. Like he could hunt, 150s and stuff. Those are great deer, for Tennessee and a lot of states. Sure. Great deer anywhere.
Yeah.
But he, that's the thing. He didn't leave that deer to go find deer, right?
Right.
But the only other thing we do, let's say somebody doesn't have time to scout. Let's say you get 2 days a week to go hunt, to off. Like you can't go, you're not going to go walk around in the woods at midnight, right? To go find sign and stuff. Obviously be mobile. Everybody knows that, any true killer knows that's the best way of getting on deer and having mobile set up and be able to adjust, right? But saying all that, you said have a plan. So you've got this plan. You got this saddle that you're wanting to go sit, like it's whatever date or whatever. You know, it can be, you know, yeah, let's just say it's rut time. You know, you go in there and you get to that spot and you've walked in. You pay attention to what you're seeing as you're walking in. Don't just walk to the place as fast as you can. Take your time and pay attention to everything you can. Look for tracks, look for scrapes, look for fresh rubs, stuff like that. Just pay attention. The idea is you hunt your way in, and if you get to your place and you don't see a story developing, like, hey, there's a lot of deer in here, they're piling these acorns, they're turning all the leaves up, looking for acorns, blah, blah, blah. Or if there's not any, there's no scrapes, you know, none, like barren, and there's deer activity, you know, you got 2 days to hunt. Keep your ass walking.
Sure.
Keep walking. Don't like, and that's one thing that, you know, I mention Matt all the time. Like, we've hunted, like, we learn a lot from each other, and like, we hunt so much together. Like, this dude will literally walk 2 miles in an evening hunt and then end up back at the damn truck if he doesn't find what he wants. You know, he'll climb up somewhere just for something random with no hope, right?
Yeah.
And he'll sit that magic, because anything can happen, right? You didn't see all the sign, but you know, it goes all like he tries to make especially that time of year, you got to make it count. Don't just sit a place because of topography. Don't just sit a place because it's got acorns. You know, it may have acorns because there aren't any deer there eating them. they're two ridges over or a ridge over eating the pin oaks, you know, versus, you know, your standard, you know, like just, you know, a white oak that you expect. Like, oh, there should be deer here. No, they're eating that specific tree that's sweeter to them, and blah, blah, blah. Saying all that, just go with purpose. Don't just go because a lot of people I love aerials, right? Everybody loves aerials and dissecting them and stuff, but use that, but also like go, like keep going. You don't see what you want, keep going, blow it up. If it sucks, it doesn't, you're not blowing anything up because there's no deer there.
Sure,
right?
Sure, right. No, 100%.
But that's the thing. With us hunting so many states and stuff, and bounce around so much on public and stuff, that's what we operate on. Like, we just, like, you got to find it has to make sense, you know, and doesn't just like on the map. Oh, it's what it says. Because the thing is, anybody can read the map, and the thing is, if other people are in the area hunting, everybody's probably pinned that spot.
Right.
So you don't know who's been in there, especially if you're using mobile sets. They may have been somebody in there four straight days.
Of course.
And they've bumped the deer off 200 yards, and you'll never see those deer. And anyway, that's what we do.
No, that's good
very
stuff,
basic,
man.
very simple, very simple.
Yep. No, that's good though. That's absolutely good. Well, Ben, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll do this again. And we are super excited. Adam,
I'm excited to have you, man. I truly appreciate your commitment to us, and you know, Rendell, I can't thank him enough for introducing us. I'm glad because, like, you know, I want to celebrate with another, you know, sponsor supporter as the season goes on. Appreciate you believing in us. And again, everybody, it's bowhuntingleague.com. It's 100% free. You just need 2 teammates to sign up with you. All you need is their emails. And we have a very active Facebook group. You can jump in, and we have a great time. Yep. Over $50,000 in sponsors, over $50,000 in prizes. So
that's awesome.
It's going to be a great year.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you again. I appreciate it. And it's Bowhunting League. You can find on Instagram, Facebook, and then you guys have got a website and all that. So that's where everybody can find you and get signed up. And so hopefully we'll get some more guys, some South Carolina guys signed up. I actually don't want too many guys in South Carolina signed up. So
you want to try to win?
Yeah, I'm try to win the state.
A little bit of information here. South Carolina has been won back-to-back years by our taxidermy sponsor.
Okay.
He's killed he killed a big deer 2 years ago, like great big one, like 145, and then just beautiful deer. And then he killed the top buck last year too. So he's donating a mount, but he has to mount his own deer, which you know will never get done. Well, it mounted. It was his biggest effort, but you know how it is. Their work comes second, right? But anyway, so you got some competition. Even
absolutely, yeah. And I hunt this Congaree swamp, and there's not a whole lot of big antlers. We got a lot of deer, but not a lot of big antlers in there.
Well, good luck, man.
Well, I sure appreciate it, Ben. Great talking with you tonight, and we'll keep in touch, and let's do this again soon.
Yep, sounds good. Thanks.
All right, buddy. Thank you.